One of the most common questions when it comes to personal injury SEO is how much should you be investing in this? This is potentially one of the most important business decisions you're going to make for your PI firm. If you spend too little, you end up wasting time and money and can potentially even go backwards. But if you spend the right amount with the right partner, you can build a case pipeline that lasts for years. In this video, I'm going to cover the realistic budgets, timelines, and red flags to watch out for when it comes to personal injury SEO. First of all, to give some context to all this, personal injury is one of, if not the most competitive markets when it comes to SEO. If we compare it against Google Ads, it can cost $150 to $300 or more per click for most personal injury keywords. So what's happening is a lot of firms are turning to SEO because PPC is becoming prohibitively expensive. And this means that you've got more competition on organic search. You're up against firms that have been spending $5,000 to $15,000 a month for years. They built a massive library of content on their website, backlinks and domain authority that you need to compete against. Basically, you're going to be playing catch up with them. And this is something that you need to factor in when you start considering what your investment should be. So let me break down the realistic budgets for you when it comes to SEO. So if you're a smaller firm and you're in a less competitive market, then a realistic budget you should set for SEO is about $3,500 to $6,000 per month. So for firms that are outside major metros that have less competition, this is typically sufficient to get you good quality work at enough volume that you're going to see results within a reasonable period. This will typically include all your technical SEO, content production, local SEO, Google Business Profile, and typically a couple of good quality links. But the key here is that your SEO provider must prioritize logical strategy and high impact activities. If you spread yourself too thin and waste time and resources on low value tasks, it is entirely possible to blow that budget and not see a return from it. So you need to be careful with that. Now, if you've got a larger budget or you're in a more competitive market, let's say in any major metro like LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, Austin, Dallas, etc., you should be looking at spending about $10,000 a month or more. That's going to allow you to output more content production, get more high quality backlinks, and put more time into the technical SEO, which is where you're going to get the edge. It's also going to help you bridge the gap between the big competition that you have in the area who've been investing in SEO for years. So the bottom line is expect to invest at least $3,500 to $6,000 per month if you're in a less competitive market. And if you're in a more competitive market or you want to get results faster, you should be looking at $10,000 a month or more. And anything below $3,000 a month, you should treat it with serious skepticism. And here's why. Good SEO requires real time from experienced people doing high quality work. Cheap providers at those kind of price levels simply don't have the resources and time to put towards doing good work. It's just the fact and the nature of the game. What you're actually going to get when you pay sub $3,000 SEO prices is templated, non-customized work, low quality content from inexperienced writers, or worse, AI slop, spammy links that are probably going to hurt you later, or just very little actual work being done. Some providers also use outdated tactics, which might result in a short-term increase, but risk penalties in the future. Then this damage can take months or even years to repair. And so all of a sudden, your savings have become extremely costly, both in opportunity cost and in actual money that you have to pay to fix it. So you end up losing both time and money when you could have been building real equity. That's the real trap you need to watch out for. So here's some timeline expectations when it comes to all this. So you need to expect to invest about 12 to 24 months into SEO so that you can actually see an ROI from all this. And I would be expecting the longer end of this if you're in a competitive market like LA, New York, etc., especially if you're just starting out now. You have to keep in mind that SEO does not equal paid ads. You're not going to get leads on day one. SEO is building value over time through content, authority, and trust signals. It's a compounding effort that pays back dividends later on. So success in SEO relies on long-term commitment and consistency, not quick wins. But here's why it's worth it. Once you have strong rankings, you end up getting these leads without having to pay per click or pay per lead. And so as you improve and you increase in rankings and you get more leads, your cost per lead actually improves over time. Additionally, your lead flow doesn't just stop when you stop spending on SEO, unlike how it does with paid ads. So you end up building a long-term asset that drives cases for your firm. What you have to remember is that today's top firms made the investment years ago to get where they are. So your investment now is your competitive edge in the future. Now here's some quick ROI math for you if you're investing in SEO. So let's say that your average case is worth about $20,000 in fees for your firm. And let's say you're paying $6,000 a month in SEO. You only need 4 extra cases per year to make that investment worthwhile. And this is very easily doable within a month once you start actually ranking. You'll typically see that around the 12 to 24 month period. And then what happens there is your caseload starts to increase, but your investment stays the same. And this is where the ROI really compounds when it comes to SEO. If we compare that to PPC, you're paying anywhere from $150 plus per click, which means if you're spending $6,000, you get about 40 clicks. this might turn into 2 to 3 leads. So you're not even guaranteed to get a case from that. Whereas once you get the organic traffic, you could be getting hundreds of visitors for these same keywords. So over time, you get substantially more value from SEO than you do from something like PPC. Now here's a couple of factors to consider for your specific situation. First of all is your geographic competition. So smaller and mid-sized markets are not the same as somewhere like LA or New York that has some serious competition. What you want to do is you want to take a look at your search terms and see who's ranking. Take a look at their websites, how much they've invested into SEO, how much authority do they have, how much content do they have. You can also estimate how much they're putting out each month, which will give you a gauge as to how much they're probably investing in SEO. This is what you want to take a look at so that you can get a rough idea of what you're going to need to invest to be able to compete with them. The second point is your growth timeline. How quickly do you want to see results? If you're happy to be more patient and take a longer time to get the return, then you can invest less for a longer period of time. It'll just extend how long it's going to take. However, if you want fast market presence and results as quickly as possible, then investing more now is going to get you results faster and on a bigger scale. And the third thing to consider is your current website status. If you have an existing site with some presence already, then you're building on a solid foundation, and that typically speeds up the results you're going to see. However, if you're starting brand new, you're going to have to go through what's called the sandbox period of Google, where it doesn't trust your site yet and therefore won't show it. So that's going to extend the timeline a bit. So basically, if you're just starting fresh, it's a brand new firm or you have no SEO presence whatsoever, then you should expect a higher investment and a longer timeline. It's just what it is. And this is especially true in competitive markets. Now, one last key point I want to make when it comes to SEO is that quality over quantity is everything. Don't fall for the volume game when it comes to this. It's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They focus on volume at low quality and it always bites them in the long run. Dozens of thin articles are never going to rank for competitive keywords. Search engines like Google are extremely good at evaluating quality now. They use things like user signals as well, which you can't really fake. So they'll quickly weed out the low quality content that no one finds useful and you're just not going to rank. One comprehensive, well-written article is going to beat dozens of low quality posts any day. And the exact same thing goes for links. One link from a really good authoritative website is going to beat 500 spammy links, which in fact will probably cause you more problems than anything. So always remember with SEO, quality over quantity. To wrap up this video, the right SEO budget for your firm is going to depend on a couple of things, including your current status, your market and competition, and your goals in your timeline. And always remember that quality beats bargain services every day. Now, if you want to know what kind of investment you should be looking at when it comes to your SEO, I offer a free PI SEO reality check. What I'll do is I'll audit your current situation, your firm, your website, and your online presence as a whole. And I'll compare that against your local market and your competitors. And I'll let you know what realistic SEO investment it's going to take to compete. I'll also give you the key 3 to 5 things that I would focus on in the next 90 days, whether that's SEO or something else. If you want to grab that, the link is in the description below and in the pinned comment. If you fill out that short form, book in a time with me, and we'll go over that together. Otherwise, hope you found this useful. See you on the next one.